Hey loves, I'm Squid.
And I'm Cheer, and you're listening to
Not Your Pick Me,
a podcast that highlights gamers and content creators who are breaking barriers in hopes of making gaming and streaming communities safer and more inclusive spaces for everyone.
Stick around for some hilarious yet educational content. And just remember, no matter how much you want us to be, we're not your pick me.
Hi friends, welcome back to Not Your Pick Me. This episode we're so excited to be speaking with Gwen, aka Schmoople. She's a super talented first-person shooter gamer and content creator and a badass trans woman whose streams are a safe place for the LGBTQIA+ community.
All right, Gwen, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello, my name's Gwen. My pronouns are she, her. I've been streaming for over 5 years at this point. I've only really had it as a career for about a little over a year. You know, I post on TikTok, Twitter, all that stuff. You know, for better or worse, I'll say. Yeah, I stream 5 days a week. I'm a full-time content creator. And yeah, I think you hit everything else.
So you mentioned you've been streaming for 5 years. Could you tell us about your gaming and streaming journey?
So when I first started streaming, I was a hardcore Destiny player, and it's funny now because like I just can't play that game anymore. I've played it way too much. I hate Destiny 2, and you know I get teased about it, but it was like my number one game. I would play PvP on stream constantly. I would take clips from that stream and make like cheesy montages. After that kind of faded out, that's when Fortnite came out. So I was a freshman in college, I think. And, you know, I was doing the same thing. I was streaming Fortnite in all my free time. And then I hit affiliate like that fall. And then I took a break for a while. I like fell off really hard and just like, you know, maybe once a month I would stream until I joined a Call of Duty team. I met a guy at work who was starting a team and he wanted to like travel and compete. And I was like, I'm totally down. They were looking for one player. It just happened to line up. So, you know, I played with them and started streaming a lot more. We got waxed. We were not very good. But, you know, it kind of like reignited like streaming and content creating for me. So I joined my school's Overwatch team. And when I was streaming all those practices and matches and whatnot, and then that just kind of steamrolled into like, that's when I started my transition that next winter. So, you know, streaming pretty much every other day throughout the first year of transition. And then, you know, that was like everything up until like 10 average viewers. And then it just like skyrocketed, really.
I feel like that's really interesting. You've almost been able to document your entire transition through having streamed.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Like, especially because I post on TikTok all the time too. I can just go back a year and see either what I looked like or, you know, even like outside of transition, just what I was playing, like what I knew I was into, because I jump around a whole bunch. And it's just fun to see like those different eras or like what I was into, you know. I like documenting everything like that.
Were you ever nervous at all going through your transition and like basically having this viewership that was also watching the entire process?
Yeah, it was definitely scary at first because it wasn't gradual growth really. It was just my friends watching for the longest time. And then I made one tweet and hundreds of people are showing up and following me. You know, it's all these strangers. Like it's this attention that I never thought I would have. And they're just, you know, they're all supportive. It's certainly not negative attention. Like everybody's super nice. And if they aren't being nice, then they're out of here, you know? So it was just so surreal that it happened so quickly. Yeah, just I got mods with sniper rifles watching the chat at all times. And they're just gone. It's crazy. I don't think it's for everyone. I think some people need the space to like not have eyes on them constantly. I was lucky enough to start right before COVID. I started in the February before COVID. Oh wow. So like school shut down. I was like, oh my God, how am I going to come out to my IRL friends? And then school shut down. And we all went online. I was like, oh, I can milk it for a little bit. I'll just like, I'll just wait. You know, it won't have to be awkward. I was such a dork. I was, I had just joined the Overwatch team, and we were having our first matches, and that's when everything was starting. It's like, oh, I don't want to come out. We should focus on the game instead. And like, I don't want to throw anybody off. Somebody you've only known for 3 months, just be like, oh, call me this now, or like use these pronouns. And like in the heat of the moment, especially like in an intensive game like Overwatch, like, I don't know. I didn't want anybody to feel like they had one more thing to like manage while trying to play the game, while trying to win. So I was trying to think of a way to like ease into it, and then I didn't have to at all because school shut down.
Are you still like in contact with those people?
Yeah, they're still like my best friends. Most of them are my mods, and I'll play with them on stream, or they just mod the chat. Yeah, I talk to them all the time.
That's awesome. Do you think you like changed anyone's mind? Like, because we all know the like gamer bros are like can be shitty. Like, do you think you like changed anyone's perceptive of like how they look at things because like you are an actual like queer trans person that they know IRL?
Yeah, I don't know so much about them. They were really accepting. Like, they were kind of the last like wave of people I had to tell. But I think certainly for my family, that was the case. Like, people may have been not against trans people, but they just didn't know any better, or they had preconceived notions of like who trans people are or what they do. Really, they're just like, oh, she just she's still gonna play video games all day. Like, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I think maybe I changed my family's point of view a little bit, but not that they were horrible bigots before, because they weren't. They just didn't know any better, And
It's
I
just
think
ignorance.
Just ignorance, and that's not always a bad thing. You just don't you don't know anybody that's trans or queer. You've never encountered that.
Yeah, there's a difference between ignorance and stupidity. Stupidity happens when you know that it's wrong, or you've like heard all these things, you've been educated in certain areas, but ignorance means that you just like haven't been shown these things, and once you're shown them and you're just like, oh.
Yeah.
That's really cool that you have all these people that have been able to stay in your life. Like, you were able to be like, you know what, you are still a valuable person in my life. The way that you've like taken this and accepted it has been wonderful, and so I love that for you.
It's great. I know I'm certainly in like a better position than most people. Like, not everybody has that opportunity, but like I almost wish I did sometimes. Like, I just want to like yell at somebody about it, Like sometimes you just gotta let.
Because like I want to teach.
Yeah,
someone
it's
something.
always strangers giving me shit, but like, I got ammunition about other people. Like, you could tell somebody off if there's like a second cousin that's giving you shit, and you're like, get out of here.
I know about your affair. Don't even come at me.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. So I know that you had your tweet that you put out, the pro gamer to eGirl, and you did not expect it to blow up like that. But what was it like? How did that make you feel?
It was crazy. I posted, I had posted like transition timelines every month or so, and they did okay. It wasn't really about the numbers. I just kind of I thought it was fun to like look backwards and just see my progress. I still do it. I open my phone and I'm like, this is fucking dork on my phone, and it's just I don't know. It's really funny. So I had posted that. I woke up at like 3 p.m. and I just found 2 pictures and I like posted it and rolled out of bed. And I was like, oh, okay. And I put my phone down and I was playing games. I checked later, it's at like 10,000 likes. I was like, oh my God. And then by the time I went to bed, it was at 100,000.
Oh my God.
And then I woke up to congratulation texts from like random people. Like, whoa, I just saw your viral tweet. That's insane. It was like my old org owner and like my best friend's brother-in-law. They were like, whoa, that's crazy. My brother texted me and he's like, you're trending under gaming. It's like, what?
You are gaming.
What? You are Miss Gaming. And it was you know how like on Twitter you get like 20 notifications or like it maxes out at 20. I would refresh on my phone and it'd be at 20 again.
Oh my God.
Like for days.
I believe that.
That's when I turned off all my notifications. It was too like my phone was like all night. And I just couldn't go to sleep. So I turned it all off.
Your phone's on for an hour, just dies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
It was so crazy. And then, you know, I had like my Twitch in my bio or the website or whatever, and I had like thousands of followers overnight too. I had 300 followers when I posted that, and I came out the other side with like 4,500.
Wow,
that's crazy.
It was very crazy. I just turned on stream and there's like 100 people watching me do my makeup. Like, oh, I don't know any of you, but thanks for coming. Yeah.
Hello.
Some of them from that first day, you know, still watch. Some are moderators now.
I'm sure you inspired so many people. I'm sure that there was like so many people that just saw that and like changed their whole life trajectory in a better way for them as a human being. I remember like looking at the tweet and I immediately was like, this is the most amazing human being. I sent it to Cheer and Jay immediatay because I think I got it on your second post. I think you reposted it. I think that's when I saw it because I'm not a huge Twitter person. But I saw it and I sent it to them and I was like, I don't know what, I like felt overjoyed. Like my whole body was full of just like happiness, like for you, for the gaming community, for everything. And so I just want to say thank you.
No problem.
For posting that as well.
Yeah, I felt like I had to like repost it. It was a year to the day. It's like I have it changed my life so dramatically. I have to just do it again. Or like every year I'll do it because it's like the defining moment of like the rest of my life, seemingly, you know. So I owe it all to that.
And every time you post it, it reaches new people.
Yeah, exactly. It'll always help somebody. Like it'll spread the same message every year. So I'm gonna keep doing it. If that's my legacy, then so be it.
It's a good legacy to have.
Yeah, it's certainly not a bad thing.
So seeing your TikToks and your Twitter, you seem to like do kind of the same thing Squid and I do, where you make jokes out of the shitty things people say to you. Because let's be real, they're not. It's funny how unoriginal and stupid they are.
Yeah.
So it's easy to laugh at them. But how do you like check in with yourself and make sure you are taking care of yourself and separating from like the garbage things that people spew at you all day?
Sometimes you just need to like disconnect. Like I think especially amongst like streamers and content creators, it's super easy to just be online all the time and just check stuff all the time. I was streaming 6 days in a row for a while and I was like, I deserve a weekend also. Like I'm just gonna, take 2 days off and like find other things I enjoy and, try to do that. I've kind of fallen off with that, to be honest. But just getting better about not reading every message or like finding things you enjoy outside of your normal routine. Like people really like watching me do my makeup and like tips like that, but I also enjoy it. It's kind of like my downtime or like my self-care regimen. So doing that by myself occasionally also really helps. Just I don't know, not being on camera what helps you recharge. I'm very much an introvert also, so I can only talk to people for so long before I'm like, I need to like go and sit in a dark room and just wait a little bit for a little bit.
I completely get that. I feel like it's really funny because I'm an extrovert and I still have realized, I think ever since COVID too, like my tendencies have changed. But I'm like, I didn't realize how much this drains my social meter. Like my social battery like usually gets like recharged in moments like that. But I think because it feels so heavily relied on like being able to create content and being able to like hold conversations and whatnot, that I'm just like depleted at the end. And I'm like, I do like that. I like the idea of a dark room right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sundays are my days to just sit here in the dark and not speak. I just don't talk to anyone. I just watch streams. I'm going to jump down to the bottom question because you mentioned doing your makeup. You always have such good lipstick. What brand do you use?
It's,
I need to
wait,
know.
let me grab it.
Oh, yes.
It's Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink is this one.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Noted.
Yeah, I like matte lipsticks a lot. I don't know why. I don't know how that started, but I have like, like this kind and like a darker red.
I love a matte
Hell yeah.
lipstick.
Recommend.
Same.
Okay, so what advice do you have for other trans gamers who might feel discouraged by these horrible things that these people are saying that that you see on like your TikToks or you see when people come into your stream?
Use the block button generously. You can certainly curate your online experience. Like if you notice yourself getting in arguments or like seeing shitty takes or, hurtful comments, you can just like block that person or mute that person and move on, especially in games. Like people can be shitty. I've muted my entire team more times ever in my life, and I just play the game. And like, sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, but that's like not really the point. If I come out of the other side of the game upset or tilted, then like they won. Mm-hmm. So, why like feed into that? Why try to change somebody's mind who doesn't want their mind changed,
Mm-hmm.
Don't always look for a fight because it's hard to win all those. Pick your battles.
For sure.
It's hard to listen to it over and over again.
Even if it's like something stupid, like one time it's like a microaggression. It's just one time it'll like snap. Mm-hmm. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
We have people all the time that'll like ask me and share. They're like, "Why don't you just mute people?" And I'm like, I could. Absolutely, I could. But I know what I can handle. And being able to handle the things that I can handle and then put them out for people to see, that's why I do it. But I've had so many times that I'm like, it's too much. It's too much. And I'm literally just like, mute, bye. It's not even worth it anymore. Because I like realized too that when we're streaming, it's not just me that's affected. Like chat's having to hear the same things. Like it's hard to navigate those things.
So you mentioned microaggressions. Could you expand on that for some of our listeners who might not know or fully understand like what those are and how they could be so harmful to the community?
They're kind of similar to like passive aggressive comments or like kind of hurtful things that people aren't fully committing to. Like I had a professor when all the classes were on Zoom, and I was the only girl in the class that he would call Bud. It's like, I know what you're getting at. Like, it's kind of, you're skirting around the idea. But, like, if you're not going to call anybody else that, don't call me that.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that is almost a perfect example of a microaggression. Like, that is, like, that your professor, at least it seems like you got this understanding that the professor wasn't trying to be rude.
He just, like, perceived me differently. And,
yes.
Like, yeah.
Ooh, that was gross. That was a gross one. That makes me feel like
I dropped that class.
It's also like the context. Like if you were to tell someone like, oh yeah, like I'm upset because my professor called me Bud, they'd be like, yeah. But it's like the big picture.
If he called everybody that, like literally, if he called his wife that too, I'd be like, whatever, Mm-hmm. But it was just me in the class, and I don't know. It felt yucky, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, you recoiled like.
I don't know. I've heard people call other people Bud, and that doesn't bother me. But in this, like, because of this specific situation, I'm like, Bud. That sounds like a terrible word.
Yeah.
I think I mainly call my cats and the like shitty kids in the game Bud. I'm like, okay, Bud. Sure, Bud.
Yeah, it's almost like it's demeaning a little bit. It's like, Bud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's see. So, okay, this question I'm very curious about, and I think is going to be very interesting. So your Twitch bio, it says that people are free to ask you any questions that they have within reason. What has been the wildest or like weirdest question that you've gotten?
So I have a bunch of comments. The most recent weird question has been somebody coming into chat. They're like, "Do you like he's or hers?" Which I thought was weird. Not only is it not inclusive, it's not a good way to word that.
Do you think they were being genuine? Like,
yes. And I was like, I was just playing Halo. I'm like, we're not really talking about that right now. I'm like, I was like a week removed from a breakup. I'm like, we're not really talking about that right now. I'm just kind of playing Halo and hanging out. And he's like, no, this is my topic. Answer it. And I was like, get the fuck out of here.
I like video games right now, so that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, we're talking about Halo. There's also just been like, not really questions, but just like weird things that I'll joke about all the time. Somebody came in and they were like, oh, I'm just here for your face. And I'm like, huh? Okay,
Cool.
And they're like, I was like, oh, you're not here for the jokes or the gameplay? He's like, no, jokes aren't as good. Just here for the face. I was like, okay.
I feel like that's what people would say to me, though, too. They'd be like, your jokes are shit.
Somebody said, I like how your nose is all weird like that. I was like, okay, all right, thanks. You guys have a way with words. And one of my favorites, your voice is non-binary as fuck. Yeah. I don't know what that means.
Are these like individuals that are coming in that are like, do you think that they're a part of the queer community, or they're just like random?
Some of them.
The non-binary as fuck one sounds like a queer 14-year-old who thought that was a compliment.
I think I was talking about my voice. I was like, I know my voice isn't very feminine. They're like, no, it's non-binary as fuck. Okay, thanks.
And you're like...
It's like, I don't know if that is, but that's also not what I'm going for.
Did you think that would make me feel good?
Right.
Thank you, Chatter, for the complex. I'll now not be able to look at anything
now
else.
I'm going to think about it.
Some people, man.
I always imagine people like
internet.
giggling in a Discord call, typing messages like that. They're like, oh, we're gonna get her with this one.
I'll give you $5, dude. Just type it.
Just ask if she likes breast milk. It's gonna be hilarious.
It's gonna be hilarious.
I'm gonna put it on LSF. It's all for the karma.
Okay. What was the most surprisingly positive reaction to you coming out and transitioning?
It's probably my mom. I don't know why. That's just such like a, I don't know. It's really important, like what your mom thinks of you. I think, at least for me, like not everybody has a relationship with their mom, but I was like, oh, I hope I don't torch this, like. And she was just like, okay, and gave me a hug, and it was so like, it was so anticlimactic almost. It was very reassuring.
I love that.
She was like, okay, gave me a hug. She's like, what does that mean? And then I like explained it to her, and she knew of the term, but I think she meant specifically like, what does that mean for you?
Mm-hmm.
She's taken sensitivity training thing at her work for like LGBTQ like students, because she works at a college. So like I don't think she would have done that otherwise. So it's just, I don't know, seeing her do stuff like that, it means a lot, I would say.
It's like you watch all these videos. Like I watch coming out videos all the time. I don't know why. I'm like, I want to see these. And obviously they're not always positive. And so like seeing those made me nervous to like come out. But then like hearing about all these other amazing stories, it's like that little bit of like hope. And it's just a reminder that like, you know what, no matter what happens though, like you still can be you and you can still come out and things are going to be okay. What would you say was like the hardest thing though? Like, even though they were so supportive, like your family was supportive, what was the thing that maybe like was the most difficult thing going through?
For my family specifically, I would say maybe not the hardest thing, but my niece she was 3 when I came out. So she was like just learning to talk and whatnot, and like knew me as one thing and slowly like got the picture. I never like sat down and explained it to her, but she's like, well, you look like a girl today. Why is that? Like, so, I think you can explain it to kids, but it's hard. Like they need to be in the right mindset and like kind of be in like school mode of like ready to learn. So it's hard to explain, because you could also explain it and they get it, and the next day they forget because they're children. So I don't know, seeing her kind of like come around to it. Sometimes she's like, "You don't look like a boy anymore." And it's like, yes. And then I'll show her like a really old picture of super short hair, and she's a day old. And I'm like, this is us. You're not even a baby anymore. A lot changed, you know. Like her younger sister, she's, you know, I've only ever been out while she's been alive. So, you know, it'll be a lot easier for her. But my older niece, I just wonder how much she remembers sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think like anything bad will come from it, but I don't want to like accidentally gaslight her later. She's like, "Who's this person?" I remember, like, they're in pictures and stuff like that, but I don't know where they went. You know, like, do I have an uncle that died or something? You know, I don't want to scare her. You know.
Do I have an uncle that died? I guess I've never really thought about like children, because like I only think of like whenever I think of people like coming out and whatnot, I think of like parents reacting and like how they're gonna take things. And I guess I've never really thought about how like younger kids who are not being taught about these things don't know about these things, and then all of a sudden it happens to someone within their family, and they're just like, what is this? Like, what, how,
Right.
like, I don't understand. So just overall, I know that a lot of things are going on in the world, especially with the trans community. What do you think is the best way that people can start supporting trans youth even more?
I think staying up to date on the news, like knowing what's happening, is certainly like the first step, because you know you don't want these things to pass, even in a state that you live in, and you don't know about it, because it could, one, drastically change your life, but two, like your state could be next. Make sure you're spreading awareness about it. Like don't let it go unnoticed, and don't let it become the norm.
Yeah, I currently live in Alabama, so
Yeah.
recently South by Southwest had an event that they did where a bunch of content creators got invited out, and a bunch of them were queer content creators and influencers, and they were getting a lot of hate for like, why are you going out to these places? Why are you going to be there? Like, they're not accepting of like the community that you're even a part of. And it's kind of like a reminder of like, you need that exposure. Like, there are still people that are there that are constantly living their lives. There's amazing queer individuals that are still in the state. And so like at that point, the exposure is the most important thing. And so I think about that sometimes, of like how bad I want to get out of Alabama. I'm like, I want to go. Like, this is stupid. And then I wonder, is that the thing that is me doing that being the most helpful to like the queer community in general? Because me having this space here and taking up space and being able to be who I am, I feel like that maybe even would be more helpful. And like, especially with you talking about like helping out with trans youth, I'm like, am I supposed to be here? You know?
I would say consider your safety also, like not, you know, don't
wrong.
like stand on the moral high ground so much that like, you know, you get harassed or, you know, anything awful happens.
Yeah.
But look out for yourself first. Like, this extends to everybody living in a red state, I'll call them. Part of these like laws and bills and whatnot is prosecuting people who leave the state, which is just, you know, trying to lead to eradication. It's not even trying to like band-aid the problem on their state. They're just trying to make sure nobody ever comes out, nobody ever shares these thoughts. They're trying to like censor you and make you live a different life than you want to or were supposed to. Everybody would be understanding if you had to leave for one reason or another, but I think there is some merit to that. Like, even just being like visible online, like seeing queer content creators online just getting all this shit and they persevere through it, I think is a really strong message. I do it, you both do it. Like, it's it's really good representation. And it's good that it's online because it's harder to enact physical violence on somebody, let alone the state that they live or the street that they live on. So yeah, do all you can within your means, I guess.
I appreciate that. I appreciate your take on that and caring about my safety. Thank you.
What is something you wish people knew about the trans community that they might not?
We're just normal people. Like I don't know, strive to live a somewhat normal life. And I say this on stream too. I don't like, people are like, oh, I love being here and just watching another trans person, which is cool. But sometimes I just want to be like the streamer. I don't always want to be like the trans streamer. Like, I just want to be a person outside of a label, you know? Sometimes we get too caught up in labels and, you know, people try to, I've gone on about like people struggling to, you know, they're questioning their sexuality and they can't find a label that quite fits them. I'm like, why does it matter? Just like who you like and go about it. But I know I have this and that and that, you know, and my room is blue and white and pink. Like, I understand that. I'm kind of a hypocrite, but you know, sometimes I distance myself from the label at the same time. Where it's like, I don't know, I'm just like a person. So I don't know, treat them like you would treat any normal person, because special treatment becomes like very apparent sometimes, and it's not always the case. You won't always get special treatment in real life.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. And I've definitely seen it. Like, there's sometimes I see people like talking to a trans woman and I'm like, tone it down. Like, you're kind of like babying her.
Yes,
you're
queen.
Like,
oh my God.
Yeah. And I'm like, stop. Like, you're giving me the
oh my God.
ick.
I watch
Just
RuPaul
act
all the
normal.
time. Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
Like,
if you get secondhand embarrassment from
normal.
somebody giving a compliment, you've gone too far.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell when somebody's being a little too extra, or like inauthentic. They just think like, oh, this is how you treat people. This is what they want to hear.
It gives me the biggest ick. I can't even imagine how it is on the receiving end, because I want to scream every time. I'm like, shut the fuck up, be chill.
So this question might like be a bit personal, but what has your experience been with the queer community as a trans individual? Do you feel like included, especially like coming out during COVID? Do you feel at any point that ever felt like it separated you from the community?
It's weird because like I would say 99% of my queer friends are people I know online. I came out right before COVID, and you know, I've never been to like a pride event or a gay bar or a community like group or whatever, something like a club oriented in real life. So now I still haven't had any of that, but I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on like queer communities in general. Yeah, that's something I think about a lot, like just like getting out and experiencing more, because we've been isolated for so long that I just want to meet like more people.
I came out not too long ago either, and it was during COVID, and that made me very, very nervous. I was like, I just want to meet people and hang out, and I just like last year ended up going to my first pride event, and so like it feels so new and it feels so different. I
got these they're like trans flag Converse. They did like a pride line, and I got like Chucks with the flag on them.
Nice.
I'm like, oh, I can't wait to wear these, and they're still sitting like mint condition, just like waiting. Like one day, because they're white. I don't want to get them dirty. I'm just gonna wear them every day.
I just want to point out the irony of your trans sneakers being stuck in the closet. A little ironic.
How did I miss that? How did I?
Cheers.
That's a really good joke.
Cheers quick on those things.
Damn.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah. All right.
You said you don't play Destiny anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Are you excited for Overwatch 2?
I used to be. It's just so hard to hold excitement for that long. It's been I don't know when they released that trailer. I think it's 2020. It's it's just been so long. How do you
That's
stay
a long
excited about a
time.
game for that long with no updates?
Yeah.
You know, I've heard little to nothing. I signed up for the beta in April, and I will play it. I will give it a go. But there's so many things about the game that they're changing, especially from like my play style and like the role I play, that it's hard to be excited for it. Like they're changing it from 6v6 to 5v5, and it drastically changes how I think team comps will work. I don't know if it'll be my main game again. I've been trying to get rid of the OW in my name for so long now, but some asshole in like 2011 took Schmoople on everything.
Oh no.
And I just can't get it. I tried so hard.
I really liked listening to, like, that was, I feel like, the pro gamer mindset of, like, I don't think about comms.
Yeah.
I don't think about comms. I don't think about how many people are on my team.
I don't think you know how to give comms.
I am very good at giving comms, Cheer.
Okay.
Excuse me, Miss Squirty Boy and Book Hotel and Wee Woo Buzz. Ouchie Buzz.
At least I try and say things. You just run and die.
Cheers, comms are all things that she's made up in her head. And we have to decipher it.
I have a friend just like that. We'll play PUBG, and he's like, house, rock, tree. There's 2 tree, 1 house. Like, everything in this fucking map is a rock, a tree, or a house. You gotta give me a little more than that. Can you set a ping,
I'm better
please?
than that. Like, one time I got killed in a church, so I said the house where Jesus lives. So
Oh, okay. I would get that.
you see, like, you get the vibe.
Right.
By the time that she gets it out, though, we're already dead. She's like, squirty thing, middle, water, squirt thing.
Fountain.
And I'm like, a fountain? They're like, wee woo ouchie bus ambulance.
Wee woo algae buzz?
Yeah.
I said wee woo hurt people bus machine.
Oh,
That's
my
even
bad.
longer.
I'm sorry. You just made it worse. Cheer. You could have just gone with wee woo ouchie bus.
But yeah, so we don't think about comms like a pro gamer would.
No, we do not. And so, like, when you were saying that, I was like, oh, that's such an interesting mindset. I feel like game awareness and stuff like that, I just don't have it, really.
Yeah.
Like, I am pretty good at, like, reaction time, but there's so much more to gaming than just that.
Yeah, COD is like really like fast paced, and everybody's kind of on the same playing field. But everybody in Overwatch is playing a different hero, and they have their strengths and weaknesses. And like the makeup of your team is like so important, because you can just run 6 characters and they're just worse against the other team's 6 characters. So you really have to like adapt on the fly and change things up if they aren't working. They're getting rid of one of the tanks. So like you play 2 of each role, and I'm a tank player, and tanks already get so much shit that I feel like if you lose, all the blame's gonna be on you.
Oh,
Like,
that
you know,
sucks.
you have to do the work of 2 people now, I don't know. The other team is 1 tank too, but you're still fulfilling like 1 role by yourself, and it's just gonna be so much pressure. We'll see.
So, while we're still on the topic of like the pro gaming and stuff, did you ever have a moment in your competitive career that was like the coolest moment, like the best moment it's the one that sticks every time you think about it?
I got invited to like a streamer tournament in the fall. It was for Valorant, so I got like me and a couple of friends. I played on the Valorant team too at my college. So me, a couple of friends from that, and my friend Zoe, who's like a Valorant pro. And I was like, we gotta win this. We didn't win it. We got 3rd, but we still got money for it. And
That's
like,
awesome.
it was pretty cool. I've never won anything like super major, just like S&D tournaments here and there. And the first one, there was a 2v2 tournament with my friend Chris. And I remember it's round 11. I got this crazy timing on this guy. He's running down a hallway. And I'm like, Chris, we won. And then I killed him. And like that stuck in my head. There's nothing this guy
That's
can do. He's looking the complete wrong way. It was perfect.
You like called the win. You were like,
I was like, oh, thank God, I don't actually have to fight this guy.
So you've been streaming for 5 years. Has it always been on Twitch, or have you done other platforms as well?
Yeah, it's always been on Twitch. Right when like Mixer was starting, you know, I was in a very small group of like affiliates just trying to like get their feet off the ground. And some of them had started on Mixer. I was like, oh, maybe that'd be cool. But then I kind of fell off with streaming for a couple months. And I'm kind of glad I didn't now. But it's not like I had some crazy career on Twitch beforehand or while that was happening anyway. So I don't know. I kind of think I wonder what would have happened. I'll never touch like Facebook gaming ever in my life. Yes, no, thank you. I've thought about YouTube, but I don't think it's there yet. I think Twitch is still the place to be.
I agree. I think that something that we've realized is that unless you're a giant creator that they'll like pay you out to come to YouTube, then that's just not the move yet. Like your best bet is to stay on Twitch.
Like guaranteed income, like for sure. I'll stream on Facebook, but like the only streamer I've watched like move platforms is Ludwig, because I watch his stuff on YouTube anyway, and he's the only person who's made me switch over to YouTube to watch just him. I never watch a stream on YouTube after him. I only see that he's live because his extension shows him live on Twitch, and I go, oh, I have to go to YouTube. And that's the only reason. Otherwise, it's
there's an extension?
Yeah, he has his own extension, so like you can put in how many months you were subbed on his channel on Twitch, and then it'll like keep counting on YouTube, because obviously like you have a 2-year badge, then it wouldn't carry over. But he has it to make it the most like Twitch as possible.
Oh, that's cool.
He's really pioneered like a lot of the emotes on YouTube, because there wasn't that culture really. People just use like emojis and stuff. But he has Pepe's and all the Twitch emotes, all of his Twitch emotes. So he's really trying to like carry that culture over, which I think is really admirable. He's really like paving the way for that platform. But it's still not really there yet. I think it only works for him right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have listened to a lot of the episodes, but at the end of each episode, we like to ask our guests if there was anyone that they would like to raid, since we are not on Twitch right now. We are not live, but we still would love for people to be able to send this listening community to another person to show support. Who would that be? Is there anyone that you would...
I would say Keffels, because Keffels has done such a great job recently, like raising awareness for all this like legislation that's getting passed, all this anti-trans legislation. You should definitely go check her out, because she covers the news like each and every day. Every day that there is news, she's on top of it, and she's spreading awareness for it. And I think it's a really, really good cause. She just did a 24-hour stream and raised $52,000.
Oh wow.
For trans youth in Texas. Got a Hassan raid during it. Like, it was a crazy stream.
Thank you so much, Gwen, for being here and talking to us and sharing your experiences. Please make sure you follow her on Twitch, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. She's literally amazing. You won't regret it.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a blast. There were a lot of good laughs, and we had some really good conversations, and I'm super excited to see how the episode turns out.
Make sure you join our Discord to stay updated on new episodes, behind the scenes clips, and leave us a review on Apple and Spotify. Thanks.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast, Not Your Pick Me, hosted by me, Squid.
And me, Cheer.
Join our community over on the Discord and follow us on Instagram and TikTok for more exclusive content. When you leave a review, tell us about the topics and creators that you want to learn more about.
Our executive producer is Janice Matsko of Empowerment Ventures, and our theme music was created by Brandon Peralta.
Until next time, guys, all my lovin's.
And thanks for hanging out.